Hello and welcome to Breaking the Consensus here at Protect Life. I'd like to welcome you all this evening. It's a beautiful June day, at least where I am. I hope it is where you are too. So, before we get started, I want just a couple of pieces of housekeeping. I want to bring your just attention to that subscribe button. If you click on that subscribe button, that means that you will be kept up to date on any new material and any new content that we have generated for you that we think you might be interested in viewing. The other thing is, even in these COVID and post-COVID days, we're not getting out. We're not having the meetings that we normally do. We're not, but we're still engaged in all the campaigns that we have been. And we'd like to invite you, if you can, to click on that donate button. Anything at all that you can give, we will really appreciate, and we can promise we will use it as best as we can. We're really delighted tonight to be speaking to Alexandre Goodarzy, who is joining us tonight from Gay Paris. However, I think Alexandre is actually originally, he's a Breton, so a good Celt like ourselves. And Alexandre has a fascinating story to tell, rather, in some ways, maybe a miraculous story to tell. So I'd like to say thank you and hi, Alexandre, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to meet you. Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you, Michael.
So, Alexandre, just before we get into the body of the story, could you just tell people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your family background? So, who Alexandre Goodarzy is, as it were.
Okay. So I'm Alexandre Goodarzy. I'm 38 years old. I'm half French from my mother. We are from Bretagne, and half Persian. My father is from Iran. So my mother is Catholic. My father's Muslim, Shia Muslim. And I grew up mostly with my mother, and particularly in suburb, and I had a kind of chaotic youth. Uh, I was very close to convert to Islam. Many of my friends converted themselves to Islam because nowadays the church, neither the government is making the job. I mean, in the suburb of many different cities, there is a kind of whole, culturally speaking, there is a kind of misery about according the culture or the spirituality. So there is nothing in fact, and we have a youth that is absolute and needs to live something high, big, great, an adventure. And Islam is proposing them that. Islam is proposing them this adventure through the caliphate, through the order, the respect of the God, for the eldest people, for the father, for the mother. It's vertical. But unfortunately, what's our society is proposing now, it's nothing. So I was in this kind of situation, and but I've met Franciscan. They arrived in my city and they changed my life seriously. I still had a foot, I mean, in the street, but another one in the church after I came back to my studies, because it was a period I left everything. And I had no hope. So I was really with a lot of hunger, and particularly because of also of my background and the way I lived with my mother and not so much with my father. And many years later, I was traveling a lot in the Middle East, and I studied the Middle East a lot through Iran, the language and the history, the civilization. And I started to stop all what was linking me to the past. At this time, when I was younger, I had bin Laden, Osama bin Laden, I like a hero, because it was a kind of anti-imperialism fight, and I was sensitive to this. And I think I was going in this way. This is why I was close to convert to Islam, because it was giving me a legitimacy to fight the Western countries. But finally, in the end, because of my conversion, I was in front of those guys. I was for who I had admiration before. So now I'm working in a French NGO that named SOS Eastern Christian, and this NGO is helping, supporting the Christian helping them to not disappear from the Middle East, because they are disappearing, really, concretely.
Sorry, before we go on, I think you touched on something I hadn't expected to be talking about, but it's very interesting to me. You said a number of your friends, young people around you, converted to Islam. Now, were these people who had familiar connections, family connections to Islam, or people from just typical sort of ethnic French Christian backgrounds?
No, not typical French people, 100% French native people, but it's like 40 years or 30 years we are living with socialism or communism, particularly in this workers area, you know. When they are French, they are just workers. If they were not working in the mines in the old times, they are working in factory. And in this kind of French world, God doesn't exist at all. And I'm not speaking about the suburb with the people who are from the immigration from the north of Africa or from Turkey. I'm not speaking about them. Even the French who are, you know, just beside, we don't even think a lot about them. But I mean, the the the, the meaning now of France is not in the culture and this history. We are deleting it. I mean, the history of France now, it starts from the revolution, from 1789. What
Okay.
was making the definition of France before is totally ignored by the people, and it really, there is nothing. So those guys are entirely French, and they become Muslim because Muslim come to them, say, come to the mosque, just know about Muhammad. There is a God, his name is Allah, and I will tell you about him, because what the church is not doing anymore at all. So they do it and they become Muslim and they have a family. They are recognized by a team, and they are strong. So it gives, you know, a kind of admiration.
So you think that, well, it's a classic subject of 20th century French philosophy is the sense of the existential crisis, the lack of meaning. And you think that what these are young people who have no sense of purpose in their lives, no meaning, and this meaning is not being provided by the church, but it
No,
is being provided by the imam, by
yeah,
the mosque.
because I mean, I'm not telling that the church doesn't care at all. They want to do something, but what do
Mhm.
they do to attract the youth? What do they do? We see some nuns dancing flash mobs to me. Yeah, we are fun, we are nice, but it's for young who are tough, who are strong, who are destroyed also. You are just ridiculous. I'm sorry. You need someone who's strong. I'm not saying that you have to show the worst face of God, but you have to see someone who's speaking about God in a tough way. You have to respect God also. I mean, this
Yeah.
is something that will touch them more. But yes, I mean, the imam are doing the job more than the Christian. And the Christian, you know, in France, they are from a socio-cultural environment. I mean,
Mhm.
they are from rich people who are good, who have good education, and they don't have the knowledge of the codes. They have to speak with the bad guys, with the bad boys. You
Mhm.
have to speak their language. You have to be from them, in fact. And sometimes there is just fear from each other. The people who are from the suburbs, they feel they are judged from the traditionalist people, and the people from the tradition who are well educated, they are just scared about the guys from the suburbs. So whenever they want to evangelize them, they don't know how to do. They don't know how
So
to do.
these are kids maybe a bit from a hard place, hard life. Do you think that maybe what they recognize in the mosque that they don't see is maybe a sense of the l'authentique, that
If they don't
that's
see a sense
the
of,
authentic, something authentic?
in fact, when they are with this Muslim people, it gives them rules, what to do, what not to do, what's good, what's wrong. And it's not even difficult to know that it is good, it is bad. You eat this, you don't
Yeah.
eat this. You go on this way, you don't go on that way. This is, this is even obvious. So yeah, it's easy to become Muslim, and to become Muslim for a Christian who someone who want to be Christian, you just have to go and make a kind of catechism for an adult for 2 years. In Islam, you just say one sentence and you are Muslim in front of two, three person. You just say 3 times the same sentence and you are Muslim. So it's easy also the way to become Muslim. No effort at all.
For you, however, it's a different story. What the experience that ultimately, if I'm right, rather than uh, going towards Islam, your path is changed by your encounter with the Franciscans,
Mm.
which is a very different kind of charism. Saint Francis of Assisi is a very different kind of spirituality. What was it attracted you to the Franciscans and to that spirituality?
In fact, even this Franciscan who came, there was, you know, the charismatic religious people. They are radical. I mean, in the way they live, in the order, the way they live, the Holy Bible. Really, they are so strict, but they can make some kind of party for singing for God, you know, and sometimes you can even see them dancing. This is a new church, I mean, charismatic church. I'm not sensitive to this. It can be also a kind of way to make me escape, because this is not something that it's attracting me. But at this time, I was my hero was kind of gangsters. Even when I was watching movie, uh, I was in love with mafia or something like this. And these two priests who came in my city, one was Italian, and another one he was a bank making bank robberies. He was
Okay.
he was doing this. He did this 4 times. He escaped to Italia, and he came back 10 years after that. He came back to France, but with the clothes of a priest. He became priest. It was for me. It was real. They are not just people who are speaking about the love of God because their way. I mean, I'm sorry, because in the way I speak, I may judge the people, but sometimes you judge. Yes, you judge the priest. You will say, okay, he's speaking about the love of God. Maybe he lived in the love. Me, I don't know what love means. I just see the
Hmm.
destruction. I just see the pain. I just see the violence. I just see the brutality, the cruelty between this and that. And those guys, I mean, he was himself a bad boy, was using the gun to take the money, and he escaped, and he met God, and I met him myself with them. Particularly with the Italian one, who was like he is like my spiritual father. I knew for the first time that I was loved. I am loved by Jesus. I am loved by the Lord. This is something
Hmm.
that I didn't know, because in all what I suffered in my life, I said, God is not fair. He's chosen some guys, they will have the good life, but you just suffer. And you know that because of this, even you're trying to success, to be better, to have a better life, but it's like there is no way. So God is unfair. He put me in this situation to let me go to the hell. So he doesn't love me, and I hate him as well. So I was like this, really. And I understood that I was wrong, because someone explained me really who's the Lord, and gave me the keys of the behavior I had to have. And I was really touched by the love of the Lord, and I changed my life at this moment. It was concrete with them. It was concrete.
Hmm.
They were carrying this. It was on them. It was sincere. It was true. It was not just words. They
So,
used to live the word of the Lord.
so after this, should we say this conversion experience, you go and you end up working with SOS Eastern Christians, which is a group which is particularly concerned with the lives and the survival of the most ancient Christian communities in the world, those Christian communities in places like in Israel and Lebanon and Syria, across the original Christian communities, like the original patriarchs, and like the stories we hear, places like in Damascus, where St. Paul was going. And you go there first in 2015 as a volunteer, and you're there, and you go to Iraq. Is that right? So what are you doing? What purpose? What are you actually doing? Like direct? sort of bringing sustenance, practical, if you like, stuff, or what kind of support are you offering? What are you doing for these people in Iraq?
Okay. In fact, it's the needs change really according to the situation, according to the war. If we are really inside the war, or if we are in a country that is suffering from the consequences of the war, it really depends. But in Iraq, those people were in Erbil. Erbil is a city, is the main city of the Kurdistan in northern Iraq, and we are in neighborhood that is named Ankawa. There is many camps of muhajirin, of refugees, but they are not refugees because we say displaced people. When it's from the same country, from a region to another one, we say displaced people. So in fact, it was a kind of transition. These people, those people, they are waiting for a visa. They are waiting for a visa to move, to go away, to go to another country, or to have a house. I don't know where in this region of Kurdistan, but most of them, they want to move. They want to go to another country. So the needs you can give them are temporary. You know, it's not like they are not waiting for something for their house. They are not waiting for something for studying or for having a better situation, a better economy. No, they are just waiting to go somewhere. So the only things that you can give them in these camps is food or hygienic tools, savon, gel, things to clean their body, to have a normal bathroom, or to eat. So we will make kind of evaluation. We go to different families and we see what they miss, what they need. When they have houses, even if they rent it, even if someone gave it to them, we know that they will not stay a lot, or some of them they want to stay. So we see, okay, we come and we see that there is no refrigerator, freezer. There is no things to clean. There is no tables. They don't have the bed, this kind of thing. And we bring it back to them when we come to visit them another time. It's different. This is how it was, and I've been over there for 3 months. For 3 months, yes.
So in this first experience you're dealing with, did you feel under threat? Did you feel a sense of danger? Or did you just feel like you were doing a job? You weren't attracting the attention of anybody. You were just doing something to help these Christians in Iraq. It wasn't a problem. Or did you feel a sense that something could happen?
No, no. When you are in the Kurdistan of Iraq, it's known that it's safe because the Kurdish, they are not so strong to make the security of other region, but when it's their region, when it's their Kurdistan, they know how to make it. So Daesh was not so far, but we know that where we are in a big city, there is not this kind of risk, but there is other risks because we know there is foreigners here, so you are not so comfortable every time. But what was the things that were hurting me the most, it was the testimony of the people, because they really saw and lived in their blood the cruelty of those guys in black, those people of Daesh. It was terrible just to hear what happened to them like that in one night. In one night,
So
your life
can,
is just finished.
can you just explain, first of all, what Dash, towards the listener, who Dash are and what the experience would have been to be a Christian when they arrived, if you were there and they took over where you lived?
Daesh is Daesh is the result of many. It's the result of many mistakes from the West, particularly from USA. It's not just USA, but I mean the frustration that the government made by taking all the responsibilities, the jobs in the education, in the army, in everything that it was in the public institution. They took it from the Sunni people, who are approximately 40% of the Iraqi population. We're speaking about 40 million person. They took it from the Sunni and they gave it to the Shia people. And the Shia in these countries are the majority, but they used to be linked to Iran that is behind them, that is really beside. It's a giant country just behind the mountain, and it's a theocracy. So since the Islamic Republic instauration in Iran, they have a power on the Shia people. And this is what Saddam Hussein was scared about, on this influence of Iran with this Islam on this majority. So these Shia people, they are not used to be uh, the more involved in the culture, in the education, and in the Bremer, the administrator of Iraqi government, he gave the power, everything to the Shia people. So the Sunnis, they had nothing from one day. They had nothing. Most of them, they went to the insurrection. It was more nationalist, but other guys, they become Islamists. So you have in the Sunni two kind of fight for the nation as nationalists, and another part who were controlled by the successor of Osama bin Laden, who was Zarqawi, a Jordan guy. And this is how it started. This is how started Al Qaeda in Iraq, and the top of the guys of Al Qaeda, the more cruel, the more the big head made Daesh, and Daesh absorbed Al Qaeda. It's the strongest and more cruel version of Al Qaeda, but it's the same in fact. But their fight is against the Shia. It's against Iran. But before, when it was Al Qaeda, it was more against USA, against the pagans, the Christian, and the Western countries. After, they focused more on the Shia but they are still the desire to kill the Christian, because for them we are insulting God because we made him a man and we have three gods, and they cannot even understand the Trinity. When in 2003 USA come in, there is a US intervention, the Christians are directly targeted by all the Muslims, not just the Sunni and the Shia. And I remember when it was in 2003 and they killed Saddam in 2006, I mean the USA, we were always speaking about the fight between the Shia and the Sunni, but we were never saying that Shia and Sunni together were killing the Christian, raping the woman, taking them as sexual slaves, taking them for asking money to their family. And when they take the family from the money from the family, they give you back the corpse, not the guy. They give you back the corpse. The man is dead since maybe 2 years, and you just have the bones in a bag, and they give it back to you. This is how they did, and it started at the moment the USA came, because they considered that the Christian, they are obviously with the USA. They were not, because they are the real descendant of the real Iraqi people. The Muslims are coming from Arabia. They are the descendant of the invaders of the Muslim Arab people, but the Christians are the descendant of the Assyrian, of the Chaldean people. They are the real owner of this ground, of this land. So they have more to lose than the Muslim. But the Muslims, they have no any knowledge about their own history, and particularly also about the Christian history, of the history of this ground, of this land, and they consider that this is land of Islam. But before to be the land of Islam, before it was the land of the Christian, and there are so few now that they forgot this. So for them, USA are Christian, you are Christian, so you are the spies, you are the traitors, you are the door through which USA came. It's the coming back of the Crusaders, and you are helping them. And of course, it was not the case. They made like the Ottoman, when it was becoming the Turkey, did to the Armenian, because they were considering them like the helpers of the Russia coming from the Caucasus. It's the same logic.
Okay, so that's a pretty big picture. As you say, of course, these are the original people, and we see this in the names of their churches, or the names of the ancient nations, of as the Assyrian Church, the church, the church in Chalcedon, etc. But so that's your first experience. You're there for 3 months, and then you go back, but then you come back to Iraq. Is that right? And so, what were you doing when, what we call the incident? Where were you when that occurred?
No, in fact, I've been, when I came to Iraq the first time in 2015, I asked to be over there for 1 year, to be a volunteer for a whole year. But the director, the manager of this association, told me it's a long period, 1 year. We never had any volunteers asking to come for 1 year. It's 3, 6 months, is not more. So if you want to come for 1 year, don't you want to open a mission in Syria? Because in Syria at this time, there was no any mission. Mission, when I mean mission, it means that there is a head of mission welcoming
Yep.
volunteers to make sustainable project to have the Christian to stay on the land of their ancestors, of their fathers, to not disappear. They receive budget, money, from the donors and the fundraising that we make in France to we sensitize them about what's happening over there. So we receive money and we receive volunteers. So there was no mission in Syria, but there was already one in Iraq. So I want to go over there 1 year. So the manager say me, it's a long time. Don't you want to open a mission in Syria? If you have this time in front of you, don't you want to open a mission in Syria? I said yes, without to think. I said yes directly, but if I have time also to go in Iraq before I open the mission in Syria, so just let me go in Iraq. So he told me, okay. So I've been 3 months in Iraq, and directly from Iraq, I've been to Lebanon to go to Syria. And I stayed
Okay.
5 years in Syria. And after that, I came back to Iraq because of work, because I have colleagues over there and we were working together on some common projects. But I was also responsible of the development. I was going to Armenia, to Pakistan, to Ethiopia. And when I've been to Iraq, this is how I've been captured by those guys in the downtown of Baghdad.
So you were in Baghdad when you were. So who was it captured you? Who took you?
Yeah, it's at the beginning, of course, we absolutely don't know who are there, but we understood, and it was sure at the end. This is also what the intelligence told us. It was the militia of Hashd al-Shabi. Hashd al-Shabi, it means in English, it means the popular mobilization. So it's different. It's like 50, even maybe more, brigade of Shia militia that makes one army, Hashd al-Shabi, under the order of El-Sistani, who is a big Ayatollah. Is the same last year the Pope Francis met when he came to Karbala, or to
Okay.
Najaf, sorry. He met this man, but he coalesced all these Shia people to fight against Daesh, because Daesh in 2014 installed its caliphate. So he gathered all the Shia, who are the enemy of the Sunni of Daesh, to make a big unity. But the one who took the control in a military way, it's Iran. And
Okay.
Iran and Sistani are not friends, but Iran took the military and political power on them. And those guys are the guys who took us. So the brigade who took us from Hashd al-Shabi is Asaib Ahl al-Haq. It means
So
the leagues of the virtuous action, something
so
like that.
you said us. So it was you. Who was taken in this incident?
I mean, I come from Damascus, and my colleagues are two, one Iraqi and one French. They are coming from Erbil, so in the Kurdistan of Iraq. So there are two, and another one who's the responsible of the security. He came from France. So we were four, three French and one Iraqi. The Iraqi one is the guy who makes the translation. So we are in. We have many visits. We have a program for many days, and this day we were just going in the city center to make a visit to the Armenian Catholic Church, because he was the one who gave us the visa, who helped us to get the visa to enter in the country. So we were on the road to visit him when two big GMC, two big cars came and just
Mhm.
blocked us, one in front, one just behind, and they didn't. We could not move. In fact, we could not go anywhere, and
In that moment, did you think that this was a kidnap or an assassination?
no, in fact, when they go out of the car, they are so strong. They are like carrying the commando clothes, and with you can just even see, you can just see their eyes. They have big weapons, big guns, big cars, shouting, hitting the door and the windows of the car with the guns, and they want to shoot us. So we have to open the door. So we understand that they want to take us. But even when it's happening on the moment, we don't even understand. We say, who do they want to arrest? Who? We did nothing. It's strange, but we don't understand exactly what's happening. After, of course, we understand that they are taking us. They are erasing us in a way. I mean, they take us, they put us in the car, and they take everything from us, and they shout. They shout. They want the mobiles. They want everything that can localize us. They don't want anyone find us, and we understand this, and we have to participate, to collaborate, to give those guys the only proof, the only thing that can maybe help us to be just fine, to be just fine one day. And it was just horrible. And the time we were driving so fast, they were putting something on our head, taking us like slap on the head to not see the road. And it's almost 5 p.m. and in winter it's already the night falling so fast, and you are going out of the capital and directly you are in this kind of desert mountain. So you are just going out of any presence of civilization, and the night is coming on you. It's a horrible feeling.
What was it clear to you that they wanted you? And I know I've read in other situations of people who are kidnapped, they thought that their first thought was they've made a mistake. They think we are somebody, they don't understand who we are. If we explain who we are, it'll be okay, and they'll have to go. Did you understand from the beginning that they had taken you, they knew who you are, and that they had taken you for a reason?
I lost you. Sorry. Um, no, we make, the scenario like 15, 20, 100 times. We spoke together. I mean, me and the guys. Thanks God, we've never been separated. We were always together, and we could speak at the beginning. No, but we tried to understand what happened there, why. But we understood that, in fact, we came the Monday, and we were supposed to move and to go back to our country the Saturday. But big demonstrations are happening the Friday, and we know that they will block the road to the airport. And the one who will make the demonstration is the Iranian power, making demonstration the Friday, because for the Muslim it's like our Sunday. They will make this day to make demonstration against USA, and they make it since 2 weeks. So it's the second Friday after the death of Qasem Soleimani, the big Iranian general who's been killed by USA on the road of the airport of Baghdad by a drone. So they
Okay.
want to take their revenge. And we know that this Friday that is coming, they will block the air, they will block the airport. And we want to take our flight the Saturday morning. Maybe we will not pass. Maybe we've been agents of flight tickets to change it and to go the day before, the third day. And in this agents of this company of Iraqi Airways or something like that, the guy who were behind his desk, he just left for a long time, like 20, 25 minutes. And it's when we went out of the office that they took us. We took a taxi. We moved like even less than 5 minutes. And at this moment, they caught us. So we think that these guys did it. And also the man from the hotel, because after we know this for the detective, the intelligence who made the research, that when they came to the hotel, we already disappeared since 2 days. And when they called them to the hotel, they said, no, they were here this morning. They were having a breakfast.
Uh,
So they lied. So they lied. And when intelligence friends came from the French embassy to go to the hotel, they deleted all the video of the cameras. So
sorry, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for 60 seconds. We have a small technical difficulty. We'll back in 60 seconds and apologize to our viewers. 1 second. And we're back. So do you think, did you wonder if anybody, shall we say, any of your friends or people that you were friendly with had been involved in this? Did you ever think that maybe you had been betrayed by somebody that was close to you?
No, no, it's the people from Iraq. I mean, the hotel, the agents, the flight ticket agents, even the guys in the airport. In fact, this militia, they own the security everywhere. From the airport, they see you, they know you. There is the Kataib Hezbollah in the airport. You go to the hotel, they have to print and to scan your copy, the picture of your passport, and to who they send it? To the intelligence, to the people. So, in fact, you are in the capital. Everybody know you're here, and
Okay.
Qasem Soleimani is the man who makes the unity between all this militia, and they don't have any chief anymore. The head of all these brigades of all this Shia militia, the head is dead. So it's like a Pandora, box that is opened, and no one control no one. It's the chaos inside the civil war. It's like
So
a volcano, but
where did they bring you at the end after this? They brought you out of the city, and where did you arrive?
that
Uh,
it just
For the
brought us to a kind of I don't know. It's a kind of big room, like a kind of garage, far from everything, lost in the desert, mountain. There is a lot of mountain. In fact, I could see from the room that was used as a toilet, we can call it like this. You have a kind of hole in the wall, and you could see. And I just looked up, and I saw outside, and I saw a lot of palm trees, and I
Mhm.
mean, a lot of destroyed houses, and some palm trees and the mountain so far. So I think we were close to Iran. I mean,
Okay.
and maybe in the northwest of Iraq, but I cannot say. But it was like hour and a half from Baghdad.
And did you stay there or were you moved?
No, they moved us like 4 times, and each time they moved us from a place to another one. It was they used to say that it's okay, you're free. Now time came, and you are just free. We are liberating you. We'll bring you back to Baghdad. You will go to the green zone. The United Nations will send some guys to take you from this place, and you will go back to your home. And in fact, of course, it was not true, but we thought at this moment it will be, and they just laugh at us, or it just to make us calm when they were moving us from a place to another one. And each place was worse from the previous one. Each place was worse from the previous one, and it was yes, from a garage we've been after to a kind of cage, like 6 meters square for 4 person with these things. I don't know how to say that in English. That is fixed to the wall, but to attach you, to attach your hand and to attach your feet. They didn't use it, but they make us believe that they will. And
Mhm.
and after it was an underground place, yeah, like 5 6 meters underground. And after it was another place. How to
Did
describe?
they, what did they say to you? I mean, did they talk to you? Did they explain
No,
why
they
they had
just
taken you, what the purpose
no.
was?
This is what was missing. They never make any interrogation. The first time they came and they started to speak with us was after 2 days in captivity in this first place I told you, this kind of garage. And they asked us like, "What are you doing there? What are you doing here? Why are you here?" And we told them that we are humanitarian. We're helping the Christian. We're rebuilding houses. Stop lying. You are not humanitarian. You are spies. You just came here to make trouble in Iraq. You're responsible from the demonstration. One guy saw you. You gave $6,000 to a man called Yusuf. He saw you. We saw you, and we know why you're here. And we said, believe us, we are not this guy. I don't know who's Yusuf. We never gave any money to no one. We've not even been to the demonstration. We are just humanitarian working here. But but he doesn't care. And me, I mean, I was not speaking, in fact. The Iraqi was speaking and he was forgetting to translate us. Me, I understand the Arabic language, I understand, but I am not supposed to understand. I don't show this. And
Okay.
I want him to show them that he's translating us to let us react. So we understand, but we cannot react. And he's speaking alone with them. And it's a lot of frustration. And at the same time, I don't want to speak. I said, it's enough. Those guys, according to the reactions they have when the Iraqi man who's with us, according to the reactions they have when he's telling them the truth, they don't care. They already judged us. We are condemned, in fact. This is, it's finished. We are spies because they decided we are. So why to fight to say what? They just laugh at us. And
Um,
this is how it started.
this probably it never occurred to you, but this group was Shia, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, if they had known that your father was Shia and that but you were a Christian, would that have been problematic for you?
I don't know. I don't know. Really, I don't know. I think they knew, but the torture was psychological because of this also. I cannot understand. I cannot know because I I think for them it can be a problem for me because they will say, really, you are worse than nothing because you betrayed us. In fact, they are French, but you are from us, and you became Christian, so it's a crime. And as well, and also, you work with these guys to spy us to make to trouble. So if they really want to accuse me of everything, it's worse for me. I have
Mhm.
more crimes for them. I am more so, but I don't know. I don't know if they knew. Once when we were, yeah, tell me, sorry.
No, just that you use the word torture, psychological torture. That's how you experienced it. I mean, what was, okay, two things, I suppose, connect. First, it seems like, I mean, if it was me, it would be a very obvious question. Were you afraid? I mean, if I were there, I would be just in fear. But so were you afraid? And then generally, what was their manner of treating you? How did they treat you? How did you experience it?
In fact, we've not. They never touched us. They never insult us. But because we were to the, we've been over there until 66 for 66 days. We cannot know. In fact, I don't want to. It's something that we will maybe see after when we will speak. But the way we've been out of this place, the way we've been liberated is a miracle. It was not supposed to stay to be for 2 months. The 2 months it's a long time because each day it's like 4 days. Morning is a day, an afternoon is a day,
Mhm.
an evening is a day, and the night is a day. When you just sleep 1 hour because you're stressed, because you're nervous, because you're scared, because they make so much noise, because they don't let you sleep, because they always put the light on you, because there is the Quran that they put singing in the video in music just behind the door. Uh, when they shoot everywhere with the guns, and you hear the screams of the hen of the animals all around the place they put you, and you hear them shooting them, and they enter and they make noise when they come every time, and you even hear the people who are tortured above you in another room. So you hear them screaming, shouting, dying. They don't let you sleep. They don't let you in peace, and you always think maybe I'm the next one. You cannot know that. Okay, now we are speaking. Sometimes we were laughing together. We're speaking, remembering some nice things that we lived at this time. Me in my neighborhood with my friend, and we were like laughing because you adapt yourself to this reality. But you don't know. Maybe the third month, the negotiation between them and
Mhm.
the government, your government, because of course something was in discussion between them. Why we are here. So you cannot know what they will do. Maybe they will take the one who has no value according to their vision. Maybe Julien, who was the youngest one, he was not married. He's maybe not demanded as much as a man who has 3 children. So maybe we can start by him. We will cut his head, or just put a bullet in his face, or just cut a hand and send it to the family to put the pressure on the government. We cannot know, and we cannot know how many time it can take and what can happen, what may happen in this situation. These guys, they have no power like at the time Qasem Soleimani is this big general who's been killed. They have no power like when he was there. Daesh also has been announced by the USA like they lost the war. So every Shia or Sunni group of Islamist radical are lost, are weak. They need a new health, a new economic health. So they need money.
Mhm.
So what we cannot know that they will not sell us to their enemy Daesh. I am scared
Okay.
to be sent to Iran. If I'm in Iran, maybe, and they have the same speech about me, they accuse me of being a spy. I will never go out of Iran. They will kill me in the jail. And and if they send us to do Daesh, they will kill us. They will kill us every day, torture us, playing with us until they cut on our head in front of the TV. We cannot know. So we cannot know. We were hearing also planes above the place we were. Maybe a war is starting between USA and Iran. We will be bombed
Mhm.
here. There is so many scenario, and all this
So
scenario can happen. So it was this kind
sorry,
of torture every time, every day.
did you say you could hear people above you who were being tortured?
Yeah, yeah. The third
Hear them
place they moved
scream.
us. Yeah, in the third place they moved us. We were in kind of underground, like to protect from the bomb of the
Mhm.
plane. So and we've been in this place. We heard one night we heard people screaming. Yeah, and one man and one woman. They were dying. It was not screaming like, oh my, it's painful. It was more than this. It was not natural kind of screams.
So they've moved you, and you're now in your. You've been there more than 2 months. You're there. You're in your fourth place of captivity. You have at this. You have no You've no communication with outside. You've no expectation. Am I right? You've no expectation of liberty or release. So on this day, 66th day, what is it? What happens? What is this moment? How does this come about?
In fact, one day, the man who I told at the beginning, after 2 days, a man came and said that we are liars, we are spies. This man was important. He had the control and the power on the guys who were like the guardians of our jail. He had the
Hmm.
authority, and you can recognize him to his voice. He has a kind of strange voice, and, and yes, kind of cruel, old, cruel voice. But we saw that he's young. In fact, I think he was changing his voice. Anyway, he came and he say, "How are you?" Say, you know, and he said, "You, I have a good news for you." And we say, "Okay." They lied all this time, so we listened to him. We let him speak, and he said, "No, you have to believe me. After, from now, from today, after 1 week, you will be close to your family. You will be with your family at home." So Tarek, the Iraqi who's with us, he says, "You already say that to us. You already lied to us. You already played with us. It's enough. Just stop it. We don't believe you anymore, and we are here. We can do nothing. So you don't need to do this." And he say, "No, no, you have to trust me. Something happened. There is there is something that happened in the world." And we say that, and on my mind, I remember I was just thinking that, okay, what is he starting to say? Because the man before him, another man before him, came and said something strange about a big pandemic, a big something strange, many million people dying. And the Arab people they know how to increase the numbers. And this guy is coming and he's saying the same thing, but with a very serious way. No, no, you have to trust me. There is a kind of, it's describing an apocalypse. He's saying that the world is victim of big disease, killing people everywhere. So I'm imagining people dying in the street, just falling like mosquito. I don't understand. We don't understand what he's speaking about. And to prove us that he's serious, he put us a TV and he put the BBC, and we see the pictures, we see the capital of the world empty, no one in the street. And when we see the people, we see the people in the hospital, we see the mask, we see them saying hello with the elbow, with the knees, with the foot. What is this? And the number of the people who are dead, who has the corona, but they are not dead yet, or something like this. And I remember I was so shocked. I said, maybe this is our this is true. In fact, we will be free. We will be free, because if this is kills us, they cannot prove to the government, to the army, to our people, they cannot prove that this is the corona who killed us, that killed us. They cannot prove that it's not because of their treatments that we are not alive. They cannot prove anything. And in fact, they want us to say, because normally when you kidnap someone, it's 2 years minimum, 1 year and a half, 2 years and a half, 3 years. It's like a wine. You put it in the cave and you take it after a long time, and the value is more, the taste is better, the value is increasing. You are increasing your value according to time you stay in their cave. And this is what they want to do. They want our family put more and more pressure because there is no hope. They want to play with the time. But this pandemic is cutting the grass under their feet. This is a French expression. I don't know if I can adapt it in English, but it cuts this trade, this way to trade us. We are something that finally we have to evacuate fast, because we will have more problems than benefit. So this is how we've been liberated, and this is really a miracle, because I think how come this pandemic, this disease arrived at this moment? At this moment, and at this time, I remember at this time, really, I have already lost 15 kilos at this time. We were missing food at the beginning. It was not the case. We passed from three meals per day to one. Sometimes they were forgotten us for 3 days. I remember we have like 2 little boxes of thon, the fish thon, for 3 days. We were seriously missing food, and we didn't want to eat anymore. One of us said, I will not support to stay more. I said them, we have to fix in our mind that we will stay minimum 1 year. And my friend told me, was looking to me really straight in my eyes and said, I will not accept it. I want to die now. I will end my life. I will not stay here all this time without to know. You say, I wanted to say them, and we said that one time. Just let us know if it's 3 years, 10 years. Tell it. We want to know. If it's 10 years, you want to see, but just tell us. To know nothing, never, 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 never. And they are passing. You just become crazy. So when it came like you are free, and the reason is this corona, said, well, God, he has a big humor, a big fun.
You mentioned, well, God has a sense of humor, indeed. During this time, had you found it possible to pray, or in any sense to, like, your faith, your belief, did that play any role in your experience of
Yeah,
getting
of
through this
course,
situation?
of course, of course. There is many different steps. I mean, I think that I prayed in my heart directly. When I was in the car, I say, okay, maybe you are going to die, because at the beginning we didn't know. Maybe it's Daesh. Maybe they will cut our head. Maybe it will happen now. I was ready. I was asking to be ready to suffer from the torture, physical. I said they will play with us. We will not be like we are now anymore. And I said, please, Jesus, take my hand. I want you to take my hand in in this this period, in this moment. So I was always considering that he was with me, and where we were inside, we were inside the garage, the place they put us at the beginning. we were praying, blessing the food, for example. They used to bring the food. We pray for, we bless the food and the one who cooked the food. So we are praying also for those guys. And after we make kind of rosary together, but it's not direct. At the beginning, we pray each one of us on our side, and we are like I remember it's like in a, you know, a mechanic way, just to pray to avoid to die or to avoid to suffer on the way in the way of the death. So at the beginning it was like this, and after 1 week you calm down. I mean, you accept your situation. There is torture inside. Just my wife, my baby, my family. They don't know. They know something happened. They know, of course, I've been kidnapped, but what do they know? Maybe they think I'm dead. So I'm not thinking about me anymore, and the
Mm-hmm.
pain I have, it's them. So I pray in this way. It helped me to not be attached to my person, and in the same time, Jesus is so silent, and it kills me. It's painful. I become angry from him so fast. I say, you have not the right to keep silent. Just let me know you're here. And I know that, okay, in theory, it's not in theory, it's real. But when you are more in this silence, it means that he's more present than ever. But I want to feel it. I want to know. I want answers. I want consolation. I want not the happiness, but just make something to let me know that my family is okay. My wife was in Damascus, in Syria. My wife's Syrian, and my baby was 6 months old when I left them. And I knew that as a Eastern girl, Eastern woman, she would not stay alone in Damascus. She would go back to Aleppo with her family. And exactly at this time, I've been kidnapped. Still, bombs from the terrorists were falling in the corner of her street. And I said, I know she will go to her family. She will not stay alone to Damascus, and she will go to her family. And I said, maybe bombs is touching their house. So I was just so stressed to not know nothing. Okay, okay. So for that, I was hungry from God. So even this hunger, he took it from me, because after another week, you just say, okay, خلاص, I don't want to fight with God. I want, I don't, I want to stop to fight him. I think it's a kind of pedagogy. He take everything from you. You are
Mm-hmm.
entirely his, and he allowed this for a big plan that I cannot understand, of course, but I accepted it. And when I gave him a yes, I accept everything that you accept yourself, that you allow, things started to be different, but still painful because you still carry your cross. But I was more in acceptation. And sometimes you fall again and you shout and you cry and you just hit the wall and you say, why you accept this? Why you accept? Why? And uh, and at the end, you come back also to him, and I had the consolation. What I received and me a lot of peace in my heart was, Alexandre, this is not from this captivity I want to free you. This is what not from this captivity I want to liberate you. I want to liberate you from another captivity that you are choosing in your life, the sin, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But this captivity is kind of links that lead you to the hell. This is what I want to cut. This captivity, this little captivity, this jail you are living with the Shia, it's nothing compared to where you are going for the eternity. Just wake up. And in fact, it was so nice from him to allow us to just test a little bit, a little proof of the hell that is nothing
Mm-hmm.
compared to the real hell. So really, I was like a monk praying, a monk, yeah, a monk praying. It was a kind of retreat at the end. I was living in my head and in my heart, in my soul, and that's it.
So, in a sense, you had your Gethsemane moment. This is your Gethsemane moment, and where you ask that this cup can pass. But if this is your will, let it be done. And then but then we come to from from Gethsemane, we arrive at Easter Sunday and resurrection. So how did it actually happen? How did that moment when you realized he's not just talking, he's not just saying this to torture us, but we are actually free. How did that happen? And how did you understand it? I mean, was it immediate, or did you take a moment to think this is actually real?
Yeah, of course, but when they say that we will be free and they leave the room after they show us the BBC and all these pictures of the reality of the world, instead we are not out of this place until we are not out of this place, until we are not in front of our embassy, we don't want to believe nothing. So
No.
step by step, we arrive to this place, and we smell. We have the smell of the freedom. We know it's coming, but we don't want to accept it, because once I remember, they really made us believe that we will be. I told you, every time we move, they made us believe that we will be free. But once they, it was so credible. We really believed it. I remember we were crying. We were hugging each other like, "Oh, it's finished," and it was
Mhm.
not. They just put us in the box of the car, with the hand in the back, and according to the way we were taking and the fast of the car and the time it was taking in this car, we understood we were not going to the green zone, or we are not going on the way of the freedom. But so they played, and it hurt us so much. So we didn't want this to happen another time. So until we are in front of the door of the French embassy, we refuse to accept this truth.
So it's until that moment that you're actually there at the French embassy, and perhaps you can smell maybe a baguette with the good Breton butter there that you can, the bon
Yeah, yeah,
beurre,
and
Breton and café noir, bon baguette, that
yeah,
you
yeah,
can, and you can smell, and you think, oh, fine, yes, this is real.
yeah, exactly.
And
It was.
I'm aware of the time, and I know you've been very generous with your time. So I want to just draw together. I would like to ask, maybe we could have another conversation another time to talk more. We haven't had a chance today about the experience of the Christian community across the Middle East and the Near East and Africa, because I think that's something a lot of people would care about and don't understand. So maybe we could have another conversation and sometime about that. But just to finish up, and this maybe sounds like a ridiculous question, but if you could go back and to the day they took you and say, okay, this time we will go a different road, would you go a different road, or is this experience something that, when you came out of it, you look back as this was an experience that you value, or was it too horrible, too bad, and no, it was not necessary. We could have done it. I could have arrived without this experience.
This is I don't know. I asked this already to myself, and I don't know what to answer. Of course, for because there is so many things to say about what the Lord did with what happened to us, how many heart He touched by the prayers, because people were praying for us, how many people came back to God because they were praying for those guys that don't even know. So even one prayer, one candle they will light on when they go to the church to say, okay, these guys maybe they're already dead, but I just want to give a moment to the Lord according to this man. And people really came back like praying. And so of course, I don't want to be selfish and to say I would prefer that it never happened. But in another way, of course, I would like that to never happen. But
Mhm.
I understood so much things. It changed also the way of living with my woman, with my wife, with my son. I care. Before I was okay, she's here, I have my son, but I live my life. I'm going here, tag, because of the job, running tag, everywhere with my mobile in the car, because I was in the adventure every time, and I was leaving
Mhm.
them back. After that happened, I understood that I was wrong, and I love them so much, and we have to work beside each other, not so. it's I don't know, and you know me, I mean, it made me stronger so in my faith, and I've written a book in English. It's Kidnapped in Iraq, but in French it's Warrior of Peace, Guerrier de la Paix. So it made me stronger from this experience, but it's not the case for also for my friend. Some of them, they are still hurt. They are like continuing to suffer from this, and it gives me pain also. And
Your book, your book is called Kidnapped. Is that available on Amazon?
yeah, it's in
So if
USA,
people are looking for it, they can find it as Kidnapped with, they can find, if they look up Kidnapped Alexandre Goodarzy, they on Amazon, for example, or any of
Kidnapped in
those,
Iraq.
Kidnapped in Iraq,
Yeah,
and
Kidnapped in
they should
Iraq.
find it. Okay, so I just, for our listeners and the viewers that may be interested in that. Listen, Alexander, I want to thank you for your time and for your story. As I say, I hope we can talk again, maybe this time not so much about your story, but the story of Christians in the East, because I think that's an important story which we don't hear enough about. But I'd like to thank our listeners for joining us today. Again, hit the old subscribe button. If you can hit the donate button, anything you can give will, we promise, be given to that work, that life work that we all share. But until the next time, I think, thank you, Alexander.
Thanks to you so
Merci.
much,
À
Michael, and
bientôt.
whenever you want. Thank you so much.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
À bientôt, monsieur. Merci.